You can open the door.
Well, hello, everybody. Look at some of the images there. I love it. What is this green right here that I'm seeing? It's like somebody is.
Kathleen, what are you doing? We
Yeah,
have
that's Kathleen.
we have Alien from that movie.
I guess that's it. Well, I want to start by welcoming everyone to Energized Living today and the Soul View. And I'm just so happy that everyone is here. I have to say that if Marianne Williamson can reach out to the world in the way that she is right now, then we can certainly do our part. And so here we are. And I'm just so glad that everyone is here joining us today. And, you know, I had this vision that, let me explain it. And before I go into that, actually, let me just introduce who's here, which is Ferris Poole, of course.
Hi, guys.
and Lorelei Robbins, and you all know Lorelei. Yep, and she's a spiritual astrologer, and I want to know what's going on, you know, the cosmic weather of what's going on right now that might be either contributing or at least influencing our moods in some way, because I know that I'm very sensitive. So I always like to have Lorelei tell us what's going on that might explain a lot about our feelings and the things that are going on cosmically. So anyways, I wanted to just explain to everybody what's been going on for me. I'm an empath. Many of you are empaths. I know that. And I have been being contacted by the people who have passed in the shootings, and they are fine. There's only one person that has contacted me that wishes that they could have stayed here. And apparently they were in either the Army or maybe they were a police officer. I'm not really sure. I can see them with a uniform on, and I'm not sure, but they wish that they could have stayed here because they were a warrior here on Earth, and they wanted to be here to be part of this, and they had to go, and they're fine with that. They're not hurting in any way. They're not suffering in any way. They made that very clear to me. The problem that I was having, or the challenge, is I was having the people that are still here, the family members, the community, reach out to me. And I want to know if everyone was feeling this as well. And I, as an empath, people will come towards the light, and they are coming towards your light. They are coming towards my light. And I got overwhelmed with all the energy of people coming towards me. And so I put myself in a bubble and surrounded myself with white light. And all of a sudden, all of these hands and energy started hitting the bubble all over the place. And they were asking for help. Please help us. Please help us. Please help us. And I had to reach out to them. And I said, I cannot do this alone. It's too much. There's too much energy. We must bring our soul gang together and help out here, because none of us can do this alone. It is just too much, and people are in such pain, and we can't take their pain on for them. That's not going to do us any good. But if we put some techniques together, and we're going to talk about that tonight, and just put some techniques together so that we can protect, of course, ourselves, but also send healing light to them. And I've been doing that, and they have becoming more and more relaxed. I've been having them do some exercises that we're going to do here tonight that I actually learned, and many of you have learned from Donna Eden. And so I've been having them do it, and they've been following along. Their spirits have been following along, and they've become more relaxed, and they're not hitting the glass anymore. So that's what I want from all of you, is to give your ideas. This is kind of like a town hall meeting that we're having here on what we can do to help people energetically. And if we can help them, then we can expand that and start helping the world. So I hope that I'm clear on my message here. And I want to go ahead and open this up to Lorelei. And just before Lorelei, before we bring you on, Ferris, do you have anything that you want to say to everyone? Any housekeeping or anything?
Oh, housekeeping, yes. Okay. We got a lot of people here, so if you want to contribute something, please use the raise hand button. And if you're not familiar with where the raise hand button is, if you go down to the bottom of the screen and click where it says participants, that will bring up a list of everybody that's there, and you'll also see a little icon that's got a little hand on it like that. And you can click that. And that way, I will know that you want to come in and say something.
Yeah.
Which is a whole lot better than everybody just unmuting themselves all at once.
Yeah, that would be a little confusing. Okay. And by the way, I don't even think I introduced myself. I'm Cindy Kubika, for those of you who don't know me. And though I think most of you on the line here do. Anyway, I want to go ahead and have Lorelei jump in. And Lorelei, you want to tell us what's going on. Let's go ahead and start with the cosmic weather right now today.
Well, the first thing that occurs to me as you're talking, we're coming up on the Aquarius full moon tomorrow morning. The moon's in Aquarius now. And Aquarius is such a fascinating energy because it's the water bearer. When you see the symbol of Aquarius, you see a woman pouring water, but it's not a water sign, it's an air sign. And so I wanted to refresh my own understanding of that, what would seem to be a dichotomy, but it's that Aquarius, because of its rational and air objectivity and its detachment, is able to scoop up, if you will, or to take all of the pain of the world and assuage it through the understanding of it, among other things. So I think that's a great sort of backdrop for any conversation, but certainly for this conversation, that the pain that's in the world, the pain that's in each of us, some of it's reflected, some of it's projected, but all of this energy, there is an opportunity to bring a degree of mental objectivity and a certain rationality and an understanding of it. So that's the first thing that occurs to me. I mean, we're having this conversation just, right before a full moon. And at a full moon, things are always amped up, So we're coming up on the full moon, Aquarius moon, Leo sun. That's the opportunity for all of us to find a balance between taking that unique part of us, that individualized expression of the divine, in the way that we express that personally. So it's really, taking our gifts and talents and offering them to the planet. So certainly that's what this forum would about. Any group, any community that gets together for a common goal, common purpose, that's an Aquarian construct. So very appropriate, which is one of the reasons we want to do this call tonight and not Monday.
Right.
Nothing wrong with the moon in Capricorn. It's just that this is more suited to what we're about here tonight. So, and let me just say one other thing, because it's very interesting. And again, not to belabor the technicality of it, but the collective soul invitation now, transiting North Node for you astrology buffs, is in Cancer, which means we're all having an opportunity for greater vulnerability. Issues of safety and security are up no matter what, they would be up no matter what was going on our planet. And that's an 18-year cycle. The last time that happened was 2001, when we had the Twin Towers. And I remember thinking at that time, I wonder, before the Twin Towers happened, I remember thinking, I wonder how we're going to have an opportunity to be vulnerable and to come together and support each other like family. So really, here we are 18 years later, and here, these series of events that keep occurring that appear to be escalating. But again, what they're bringing forth is something that's not dissimilar to what was going on back after the Twin Towers incident. So I think the learning there is for each individual to create their own inner safety and security and become their own parent, their own mom, their own dad, so that number one, we can offer that to others. But number two, a lot of people that act out, it's because they don't feel safe. They didn't have, or they didn't know how to get it or whatever. So we all have an opportunity for a greater sense of vulnerability. And certainly when someone opens fire somewhere, everybody's vulnerable on a whole, gives vulnerability a whole new level. But as I said, I think if we each allow ourselves to be vulnerable and intimate with ourselves, then we will be able to create an energetic platform for ourselves from which we can then be in nurturing service to others, and in that feel our own sense of belonging to the family of man.
And Lorelei, as horrific as this is, and it would be easy to just hate the shooter, hate the people that are doing these crimes. It'd be so easy to buy into that hatred. And what hatred is, it's, first of all, hatred is fear. In fact, I put that online the other day. What is hatred? Is it a mental illness? And no, it isn't. It is a fear. It is a very deep-seated fear. And these people have been living in fear, and they didn't know what to do with that, because energetically, they're obviously not in balance. And I do not think that they have mental illness, or at least, I'm not sure about the one in Ohio, but in Texas, no, that was fueled by hate. And behind that is always fear. And that person is lost too. Right. So our goal in doing this is not to beat up on people, even though what they're doing is wrong. And just like Marianne, and I'm so proud of what she's doing, and she's amazing when she speaks out. And I love the way she does it. And she always has the element of love on her side. And that's what we want to do here. So let's keep our hearts open to this. Let's keep, those feelings, process them, figure out where they're coming from. Because I had to do that, and it took me a couple of days really before I realized that part of them were not mine. There were somebody else's feelings. And so for those of you who are empath, or those of you who are psychic, and how many people do we have here that are psychic? Or first, let's start with empath, because I want to know. Empaths, just raise your hand. Okay. Yeah, I knew Helma was. Heather, I knew, yeah. Okay. And Anne, definitely. I can't see who else. Ferris, who else? I can't see everybody.
I can't either.
Oh, okay. All right. I can't see everyone on there. We've got a lot of folks here. So, okay. How many people are psychic?
Well, and typically astrologically, those are people that have water energy. I mean, empath, if you have no water in your chart, you're probably not, or very little, you might very likely not be raising your hand, because water carries the energy of empathy and the energy of psychic. So
yeah. And you may prefer to call it intuitive. So we can call it intuitive. For those of a lot of us intuit. Yes. Yeah. We've got a lot of folks on here that are. And then you're getting the same message I am, that something bigger is coming if we don't do something. And we know that. We know that is true. Am I right? Everybody's feeling that energy, and we know that we can stop it, right? We know we can stop it. That's why we are here, and it's our time to step forward and to act, and we can do that. So that bigger thing, like the Twin Towers, like 9/11, that kind of a thing doesn't have to happen, but we must do something. So here we are, and what I want to do is to just have everybody share. I want to know what you're feeling right now, and just go ahead and raise your hand if you will now, and let's share. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our third eye and our crown chakra and invite in ideas. So, expand on ideas. So we'll do that next. But first, raise your hand for those of you who would like to share.
And we'll start with, I believe, Karen. Are you there, Karen?
I am.
Hi, Karen.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
Hello,
I
you
miss
divine,
you.
amazing, wonderful people.
I'm so glad you're here. What would you like to share with everybody today?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Karen in Toronto. I know most of you have absolutely no idea who I am. So, but I am in Toronto, and I wanted to point that out specifically because a lot of us here are strongly resonating with the environment and the pain and the things that you were describing, Cindy. One of the things that I resonate with in terms of what Lorelei was just saying, and slightly in contrast to what you were just saying, it's not about help us, it's about service. Mm-hmm. You want to serve those around you by making it safe for them to honor that fear and honor that pain. It is there, therefore it is holy.
Totally.
And to choose, which is what Lorelei was saying earlier, this entire situation invites us to choose differently. The contrast is there, the fear is there, the pain is there. I can bless this and honor this and choose to serve humanity around me, to create a place where even those who were responsible for this pain can know even slightly that they have a different choice as well.
That was beautiful.
That's beautiful, Karen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's lovely to hear all your voices.
It's great to hear yours too.
I have a question. It's so interesting to me that you used serving versus helping. So I'm so curious. What's your birthday?
I missed that question. I'm sorry.
No, I was curious to know because you use the word serve as the construct. And
yes.
Serve. So I was just curious what your birthday is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can. I mean, and that's because, I mean, let's think about it. Unfortunately.
Karen, what she was asking you is your birthday.
My birthday. I'm sorry. It's my birthday. I'm sorry, Lola. I didn't realize you were going to be doing that for us. It's Monday. It's August 19th, 1965. It's Monday.
Sorry. Wow. What's the date?
It's August 19th, 1965.
Yeah, because I'm not really doing that tonight, but because service was such a big piece of what you said. Now you're a Leo, but my sense is you must have some Virgo energy. That's all I'm saying. Virgo, Pisces, because you use that word of service, and it's the Virgo energy is really takes service to the most sacred. I heard so much sacredness in what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. I wonder about that because we're surrounded by people who are like, I've got to fix it, we got to help them, we got to help them. And that just doesn't resonate as much with me as I want to serve them. Mm-hmm. I want to serve them. Helping implies that you are better than those who are suffering. Serving implies that you are with those who are experiencing, if that makes sense.
And serving could include helping, but is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
And it's a Leo thing?
No, it's not a Leo thing. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's a Virgo thing.
It's a Virgo thing. So I'm going to if it looks like I'm spacing out, I'm not. I'm just going to go to my astrology screen and put your birthday in just because I'm curious. Because I get really jazzed when people speak how they're wired. And it struck me so much what you said about, the helping piece versus the serving piece. And there's a lot of purity in the way you said it.
Well, thanks, Mom.
Oh. Wow. Wow.
I just hope it blesses others and reminds them and hopes them that it gives them at least one more alternative on the plate here, especially the people like you who are empathic and you who are psychic. I'm neither of those things, at least not that I know of. But I can certainly resonate with being overrun with energy and overrun with the sense of I must make this better.
Yes.
But sometimes that isn't exactly the place to work from, because there are people who actually need to work through that pain, as it were, I would suppose. Yeah.
My first instinct, Karen, can you hear me okay? I'm trying to...
Yes, love, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. Just so everybody knows, Karen has some hearing difficulty. So if I talk a little loud, I just want everybody else to know the reason for that. I want to make sure that you can hear me, Karen.
Karen,
yes,
it's
your mic is better than Laurie's.
It's your birthday today.
Yeah, your mic is better than Laurie's. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and my first instinct was to run, but I didn't realize it wasn't mine. But I wanted to run. I didn't want to serve. I didn't want to help. I wanted to hide because I couldn't, but it was coming at me, and it increased when I was on my front porch and I was crying, and my neighbor, who I've known for a very long time, came up and he said, to ask me a question, he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm just so overwhelmed by these shootings and these deaths, and it's so painful." And he said, "Well, those Mexicans," that was his visceral response, and I lost it. I have to tell you, I lost it. And not anything else, oh, that was sad or anything else. And that, it was like it woke me up. It shook something loose in me that said, no, I have to help, or as you said, Karen, be of service. And I needed that moment to just kind of shake loose whatever was holding me. And I think, again, I don't think it was my energy, because I always like to be of service, but it shook me loose and made me realize that we all have to step up.
You cannot serve without honoring first where your body is, where your spirit is, where your heart is. You cannot serve if you do not give yourself what you need to feel that you're working from a place of peace, not from a place of fixing. If you are overwhelmed, you stop, you breathe, you honor before you serve. Otherwise...
And that's what I was doing, because, for everyone, if you feel like crying, if you feel like swearing, if you feel like stomping your feet and getting angry, do that.
Please do it. Please do it. Yeah. Because those feelings are holy.
Yes.
Those feelings are there for a reason.
Yeah. And then you can get busy, but you got to release those feelings first.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
So,
Karen, thank you so much.
Now in Tijuana, we have people wandering around shooting people randomly on the street. And it's a very different environment here, because Canadians will throw themselves in front of gunfire before they will, it's just the nobility and the tolerance and the love here.
Yeah, it's a different environment.
We've got a lot of people who are in this position that you guys are talking about. How do I serve without feeling powerless, as it were?
Yeah.
And
Laura, did you want to say something? And then we're going to go ahead and move on to some other folks, Karen?
Of course, love. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hog.
Lorelei.
I just wanted to say one thing. You're a Leo with 3 planets in Virgo and 2 planets in Pisces. The 2 signs of being in service. So it's from the heart. In other words, Leo being the joy of the spirit, the innocence and that innocence of spirit. So as I suspected, just by the way you were languaging what you were languaging, just wanted to share that. So really, if you combine Leo and Virgo, it's service with love.
Mm. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate that. Blessings and love to all of you.
Love to you too.
You know, I know it's a horrible reason that brought us together, but I'm so glad to hear your voice.
It's so great to hear your voice too. Okay, Ferris, who's next?
Lahana, and you're going to have to unmute yourself, Lahana, because it's not letting me do it. There we go.
I got it. Thank you very much.
Hi, Lahana.
Hi, I'm Canadian and I live way up north. I don't even live on the border around Toronto. I live way up on north on the Pacific Northwest coast. So I'm very far removed and I don't watch TV. However, things have been playing out in my life, my awareness that I'm very, very aware of what's going on. And I'm very aware of the feeling of, for me, it's in the last couple of months coming out of apathy into action. And now I'm getting very nervous, but that's okay. I had somebody posted something on their timeline a couple of days ago, and it's somebody I would consider very lightful. And the whole article was about evil and dark and hatred and everything else. And I sat with it because I really wanted to say something to her about it without being in conflict. And I reached out to some people and, it's like, I send light, but not say anything because I always keep getting hit down. So I sat with that and I realized a couple hours ago that the person that posted that does not have no, that's a judgment. It's a place of being in fear and not realizing that she's continuing to spread the virus. And the person who said, not to share any, she wouldn't share anymore because she'd been hit down. It's like I've been there and I realized that I don't want to say this because it's a commitment. I need to start sharing regardless of the outcome and find a way where I can share without feeding into people's fear. So that's where what I've got going on that resonates with this. It's like recognizing how much fear people are really in, and seeing if I can just draw attention to that in a very loving way without making them wrong.
And keep in mind that we all have shadow sides.
Oh, yeah.
And when something like this happens, our shadows come out into the open. Well, what happens when you cast light on shadow? And that's what they're doing, is they're bringing out, even though they're expressing it, at least they're expressing it. Let's bring that out into the light so it can be healed. And that's what we want to do, is we want to see things like this so that we can cast a light onto those things and not let it stay under that rock or, in the darkness, if that makes sense to everybody. We need to expose those things. I would rather have it out in the open. The beach ball has been under the water for way too long. And now that it's been released, it's exploding. They're exploding all over the place, and people are sharing their feelings, the real feelings, for the very first time. And until you do that and become conscious of it, you can't heal. You can't move forward. You have to first become conscious of what's in the subconscious, and then you can start to move forward and heal. Lorelei?
No, I'm just agreeing with what you said. Yeah. I mean, and it's like the earth is righting itself. All this stuff is coming up to be purged, to be let go of. And as much as it looks like what it looks like, You know, I still believe that on some level, this is happening for us as opposed to us. Now, it's easy for me to say I didn't lose someone in one of those. And I would hope that I could still believe that somewhere, even if it did affect me personally. I mean, I do believe that. I do believe that things happen ultimately for the good of all. And from a radical forgiveness perspective, you know, it's like everybody signs on for the mission.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's an awareness that something I didn't know that I learned from my niece, and she's a travel agent. And people are being warned not to come here from other countries.
Mm.
That says a lot about what's going on in the US, where everybody wanted to come here. Mm-hmm. And now people don't want to travel here. They're in fear. And those are the things that we have to become aware of so that we can heal what's going on here. And I mean, that was what people are saying that. Yeah, people, I mean, she's a travel agent. People don't want to come here. They want to go other places. They want to, this is to them, that's a war zone. People are walking around with guns, you know, and so there's fear there. And those are the type of things that we have to expose so that we can heal and be the, you know, place where people want to come again, where they're feeling safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Other comments, Ferris?
No, but I have a couple.
Okay.
One is the helping versus serving notion. Years ago, I drove by a bad accident with a friend, and I said something about praying for those people to be okay. And she spoke in tongues from time to time, and she said, I don't do that. She said, I pray in tongues because I don't know what their soul path is. Mm-hmm. I just want them, I pray for them to have what's best for them. And I thought, boy, that is really good. If I ever learned nothing else from that lady, that was worth it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I said that was worth it like it was a chore. That didn't sound right. The other thing is, for those who have a comment or a question and you don't feel like speaking, you can put it in chat here on the side. Yes. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can put it in chat there, and I'm trying to keep up with it and make sure if I catch anything.
Okay. All right. Any questions so far, Ferris?
Nope.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do is, you know, I think that most of us know who Donna Eden is. She's the kind of brought energy healing into the forefront. And she is kind of the matriarch, I think, to all of our energy healing abilities. She's quite amazing. And there's a couple of techniques. I actually have her cards. And for those of you who don't know who she is, you might recognize her face. I'll put her up to the camera there. There she is. And, but if you don't know who she is, please go look her up because she's amazing. And I use her techniques all the time. And I was going through some of her things and just decided that, that I would do a couple of those today just to open up, you know, our third eye, stab myself in the face, our third eye, and also our crown chakra. So I want to start just by connecting heaven and earth. And how we do that is we just stretch up, and I'm gonna see if I can stand up back here and do that so people can see me a little bit better. And hopefully you can. But connecting heaven and earth, you're just going to stretch one arm up over your head with a flat palm and the other one to the floor. And then when you bring your hands back together, bring them in a prayer position. Some people like to do it where you're putting your hands on your third eye. That is also fine. And now the other hand is going to go up and the other one is down. what we are doing when we are doing cross-body movements like this is opening up our brain, our full brain, having, there's something called the corpus callosum that connects the left brain and the right brain. And when you work in opposite sides, you are activating the whole brain, and creativity just explodes. So let's do this one more time. One hand up, the other down. And now come back into a prayer position. And now I want you to just throw that energy down. You're going to go with your breath. And one more time. Now, I would like you to take your hands, I'm going to stay back here for a moment, in a triangle. And we're going to put this right over the third eye. And I want you to envision a bright light entering into that triangle, right into the third eye, awakening your divine, your inner knowing. Feel the heat of the third eye, all around the third eye. Feel the heat from that light. Now let it relax your body. And now we're going to open up the crown. And we start by pulling. We're just doing a pulling movement. Right here at the, starting at the forehead, the third eye. Just like you're trying to part your hair. And we're going to slowly pull all the way back. And just each step you are going to, and I'm going to mess up my hair here. Just pull it apart and then step back, going towards the crown of the head each time. Just walk your fingers back and pull. And pull. And pull. And feel that divine light enter through the crown, lighting up your whole body, activating the mind. Your creativity is now connected to the divine. Take a nice deep breath. And release. Another nice deep breath. And release. Last time, this time you're going to release it with a gentle exhale. How did that feel for everyone? And would you like to contribute anything else? Ferris, do we have some question or comments there?
Did you see what Helma put in chat there?
I didn't.
Violence strips naked the body of a society, the better to place the stethoscope and hear the life beneath the skin. And that's a quote from Leslie Manigault, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, former president of Haiti.
Oh, wow.
And it's interesting that it would come from a former president of Haiti, where there's been an awful lot of violence.
Yep.
Thank you, Helma.
Yes, thank you. Okay, other comments?
There's Helma.
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty profound and provocative comment. And I took that out of this article that I read today on self-compassion. And I've been studying self-compassion for a while. And I love what the first caller, I think her name was Karen, said, that we really cannot take action until we are in balance and at peace in ourselves. And for me, that's what self-compassion is, you know, the senseless violence that is happening all around us, the chaos and despair causes deep emotions in me. And it's an opportunity for me to really be with that and have compassion for how I'm feeling before I'm able to, you know, to go forward or to take action. And I also want to read something from that article here, if I may. Mm-hmm. It's such a great article. If you're interested, I can put a link to it in the chat as well. It says something like, civic engagement has fallen overall. Although this trend may be shifting, we have smaller discussion networks than in past decades. Some researchers say loneliness is an epidemic, and loneliness and social isolation have clear health impacts. So one of the tactics, I think, of all of this violence and discord is quite intentional, which is to keep us isolated and in fear. And that's sort of, you know, that's sort of our instinct, is to you know, to retreat or hide or stay mute. But I also think that it's having the opposite effect. Because look at you, Cindy, tonight creating this forum, and look at all of us who showed up, right? We're not being mute, we're coming together and we're discussing this and sharing and empowering each other. And that's powerful. So we're not hiding. And I think that this is happening all over the world, that people are coming together. So there's an opposite effect happening. The intention may be to separate us, but in fact, it's bringing us together.
I love that you are saying that, because I watched a documentary the other day or not a documentary, it was some kind of series that they were having on, I think it was called Breaking Hate. And people that are feeling isolated, that feel like nobody understands them, are being courted by these dark forces. And that for them, it's a family. And they start you know, implanting these ideas into these people. And that's where a lot of this comes from. Well, if we get together and give people a place to come and, yes, express their fears, but also engage with love. As Marianne has said again and again, you know, do everything from a place of love, then creating community is the way to do that. You know, loving community.
You know, and that's a tactic of gangs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They create a false family for people that are, you know, feeling isolated or misfit or whatever. Then everybody wants to belong to something.
Yeah.
You know, they do. And there's that human instinct. I'm trying to remember the name of this amazing organization in LA. It's a bakery. It's called, I'll look it up and I'll put it in the chat.
Can you come a little closer to the mic?
Yeah, we're losing you. There you go.
Okay. There's an amazing organization for ex-cons in LA. Typically, they can't get a job. They're stigmatized, marginalized in the society. And it's a bakery. And so they all can work there. There's this incredible minister who created this opportunity. It gives them a career. It gives them a family. It gives them a good family. And, you know, they're all tough guys with tattoos, and they're making all this like gluten-free, incredible baked goods, and their business keeps growing. It's amazing. I'll tell you what it's called in a minute. It's something like, I don't know. It's a funny name. But so once again, people want to belong. They want to be part of something. So you can prey on that instinct, or you can offer a different way. Anyway.
And there's a book, and I cannot think of the name of it. I'm going to have to go look it up, but this is about who's buying into this division right now. And they said that it was people that didn't feel like they belong, and particularly people that don't belong to a spiritual community are buying into this more than anyone. And whether that's a church or a spiritual community like we have, but they did a whole research, and he actually gave the numbers on it. It's a fascinating book, but I abandoned it a while ago because I had too much going on. And I'll have to get back to it. What's that, Ferris?
We'll put it in the replay email.
Yeah, we'll put it in the replay email so everybody can listen to it, because I think it's important to understand what people are thinking right now. And it was really a good book, and I want to get back to finishing it. One of the things, Helma, and everybody, that we are doing, that Ferris and I are doing, because we have been feeling this for a while, that we need to come together, just like we all did, you know, when we went to BJ's event in Oklahoma. It was so awesome to see everybody and hug all of you in person. I loved it so much. And I thought, you know, we want to do something. So the building that Ferris is in right now, it's a little house that we own in downtown Franklin, Tennessee. Yeah, it's kind of a mess right now because behind that door, there's no sheetrock. It's all tore out because we are building a healing center, and we don't know what we're going to call it yet. So we're open to names, everybody, but we want a place for people to come so that we can hold weekly meetings there for everybody to come that will be free, and also for people that are healers that need a place to see their clients. We want to be able to have space available for them. So we're going to have a whole library. We're putting together a really nice kitchen so that we can actually have people share recipes, healthy recipes, and make different decoctions and stuff like that. You know, I'm working on my master's right now, and a master herbalist degree. And so this is something that's really, you know, the heart and soul of who I am. You know, like Helma, I'm a gardener, and I'm my spiritual connection is with my plants, you know, and it just feels so good. So anyways, that gives us a physical place for people to be able to come and get together. So we'll let everybody know as we move along. Right now, we're trying to get rezoning in our area for that particular house. We're working on it. We'll let everybody know what happens there. And we want to come back and start doing these meetings again, you know, Energized Living Today or the Soul View. I don't know what we're going to call it right now. It's just, you know, all of us souls getting together to talk about what's going on so that we can lean on each other during these difficult times. Okay, Ferris, I saw something come up.
Yep, Lahana,
See it.
you unmute yourself because it won't let me do you for some reason.
So, Cindy, are you set up to take donations? And when are you
We will be.
Okay, because it sounds to me like that is something that even though people can't physically be present on the premises, donating to something like that will make a huge difference in the energy. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Yeah, that's something that we want to do because we'll broadcast from there too. Well, we're setting up a whole studio originally it was going to be our studio for Energized Living Today, and the traffic got so bad through that whole area that we couldn't broadcast there anymore because it was too noisy. But when we rebuild, we can actually put in some soundproofing so that we can broadcast from there again. That would be great.
Well, let's hope so. The new police station is like 3 blocks down.
Yeah.
So every siren in town comes by here.
Yep, that's right. The good news is the building is worth a lot of money. So that's good. So it's worth redoing, in other words. Okay, other comments, Ferris? Anybody on YouTube?
Let me check again. Nope.
Okay. All right. And am I talking loud? I've been around my dad and my aunt, and
No, you're good.
I'm okay. All right. And I've been talking really loud because both of them can't hear. So I feel like I'm going around shouting. Okay. Other hands? Anybody else want to
Nope.
share? Okay.
Oh, Heather.
Ah.
And you're unmuted.
Just a couple observations. I love the idea because I think it's really important that we raise the vibrational awareness and at every opportunity.
Mhm.
And this is a perfect example. And if that could continue, that just kind of, that would, all that would help. And the other is that it's very interesting because it's the 50th anniversary of Woodstock.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
And, 500,000 people got together for peace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the timing is just like you were saying, Lorelei, it's just the age of Aquarius. It's here.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna tell a story on myself. Those are the best ones.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
50 years ago, I saw film of Woodstock. And where I saw it was in the officers club of my unit in Vietnam. And we were all standing around saying, well, those damn hippies. And of course, we were all thinking, I wish I could be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we want people to be here. We want to come together. And again, we just kind of pulled this together, and, Lorelei was feeling the same way, that we need to come together. And so the three of us just said, yes, let's do this. So here we are. And does everyone want to do this on a weekly basis? Bi-monthly basis? What do you think? Heather, since you're right here, we'll ask you first.
Is there Lorelei, and Cindy, is there a cosmic time that's better?
Okay, you can't ask Lorelei. Because she'll change it every week.
We'll need to pick a day and we'll make it work. But
because I think, for example, is tomorrow the full moon?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people might be feeling more emotional than normal, especially us water signs. And then we have all these storms going through. I don't know if you saw my post, everybody, we thought we were going to have a tornado last night. I was on my way back from the store, and the storm started kicking up. And when I got in the car, it was 96 degrees. And in 1 minute, it went down to 76. And then by the time I got to the restaurant, it was 72. And then the storm, you could just feel it. And I had, prickly feeling you get all over your body. It just started rolling over us. And when you couple those storms with a full moon, oh my gosh, water signs, this little Pisces right here is like, I couldn't sleep all night. I was up all night. So,
You know what, Cindy? We'll send out a poll.
Yeah, let's
for everybody. And unlike the ones that you get on the bottom of the receipt at the store, you won't get a $500 prize, but you will get our gratitude.
You are the prize.
Yes. And I want to invite people, you know, I shared a little bit of Donna Eden's techniques here. If you have your own techniques that really work, before I do any creative project, by the way, I always start by opening up my third eye to connect my creative heart. You know, I start with heaven and earth and my creative heart, open it up and open up the third eye. So that's just something that I like to do. What do you do? And I want other people to come on and share, because, you know, we're pulling this together, but it's about everybody. And we really want everyone to share. So that would be great. Anybody that wants to share. Okay. Anybody else? Any other?
Richard, what you got?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, Cindy. Good to see you, and Ferris and everybody. First, I want to say that I believe that Karen said that her birthday was on the 19th.
Yeah.
Yes, 19th. Yes.
Right. So today is not her birthday.
Right.
Speaking of birthdays and astrology, I am a Pisces, just like you, Cindy. And,
when's your birthday?
March 13th, 1950.
Oh, okay. So we're close.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't look like you've been around that long.
Well,
I
I was born a little bit later, but you know, you're the 13th. I'm the 16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the moon was in Capricorn, actually, when I was born. But my mother was an Aquarius, and she was a phenomenal woman. She was a trailblazer. She was a veterinarian, you know, back in the late 40s when you know, very few women were even in the program.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, they only allowed women in every other year at the college she went to up in Washington.
Anything you want
to? Well, for one thing, I want to say that there is a lot going on in Hong Kong right now.
Yeah.
I've been catching some of that, and I think that's really a good thing that people are, you know, they have a taste of freedom, and they're standing up, they're putting their life on the line to keep it. And I understand that they're using some green laser lights to disrupt the facial recognition artificial intelligence that the people from China are bringing. So there's a lot going on, and of course here in this country,
and then in Russia, people are protesting like crazy there too. So it's happening all over.
Yeah. So I believe that we are very fortunate, although it is a challenge. You all know it is a real challenge to be here at this time, but it is quite a blessing also. And it is an opportunity for us to allow the light and the love to come through us and really make a difference.
I agree. Lorelei, do you want to say anything to Richard?
I don't see
We
her
can't
on.
hear you, Lorelei.
Where did she?
She disappeared.
Oh, she fell out.
I'm muted.
There
Yeah.
you are.
There you are.
Yeah, here I am. Not specifically, no. I mean, Richard and I comment a lot on Facebook, but certainly what I was thinking, though, when you said that, I was thinking you're the flip-flop of Martin Luther King, who was a Capricorn with a Pisces moon.
Ah,
And that's being able to put feet under the dream.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. He had a dream.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
And he actually came to the city where I live.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Central California. I didn't see him, but he was here.
That's a man that I would like to meet.
Yeah.
Someday I will.
That's right.
I'd rather wait.
We all have a lot of work to do here, so.
Yeah, he can come to us all in spirit.
Yeah. I'd rather do it that way. Good point. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, Ferris, anyone else?
Nope.
Or any comments?
Nope. You
I'm
two
hearing-
are being very quiet.
Okay, I'm hearing dings all over the place, and I'm not sure why. But
I haven't heard any.
okay, my phone's muted, so I don't know where it's coming from. Anyway, I just want to thank everyone for being here. Wow, it's so nice to see your faces. And for those of you on the phone, I'm imagining your face, and you look great today. So I'm just grateful that everyone feels, as I do, that we need to come together in community and share the love. And, you know, as Karen was saying, to be of service, you know, and I like her distinction, but I also agree with Lorelei. She said that, you know, being of service, helping is in that. It's a part of that. And I feel that also. So any final words you want to leave everyone with, Lorelei?
Again, just that we all put whatever ills, whatever dis-ease, whatever malaise, whatever pain into the urn, if you will, of the water bearer of Aquarius, so that we can step back and witness the pain and be in service in that way.
Mm-hmm. And Ferris, anything you want to leave everyone with?
I'm just so happy to see everybody. I will say, for the folks that are watching on YouTube, that shirt is not your right color.
Ferris is the jokester, by the way.
So next time, and I am so happy. I am so happy to be here because I have missed this, and I am pushing with even before we have a poll to start this back on some kind of a regular basis.
Yes. Yes.
And thank you all.
Yes, thank you all for being here, and I love you all, and I feel your positive energy, and oh, my soul needed you. Thank you. And until next time, everyone, I just want to say I love you and namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, and I send you all light.